Okay, it's let me get the questions back. And it's already recording. You look really great in the screen. I can see everything. You look good. Can you see everything on me? It looks like you can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. All right. And then okay, so here we go. Okay. Hi, I'm so excited. I have today Dr. Adrianne McKeon, who is a psychologist, and I have her on spotlighting her today because on honor of Latinx Celebration Heritage Month, which starts on September 15th all the way to October 15th, I wanted to celebrate and spotlight Spanish-speaking therapists who are Latino here in the state of Tennessee. So if you're watching this, you'll know that these are therapists in the state of Tennessee. So I'm so excited to have you, Dr. Adrianne. Go ahead and let me know. Tell me about yourself.
Thanks for having me, Victoria. It's always good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Something about myself. So I live in Nashville. I've been here for 7 years. I have 2 little boys and I have a private practice. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but I'm multicultural. So my mom's from Brazil. My dad's from Louisiana, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. So I consider myself Puerto Rican. And now I'm a Nashvilleian as well.
Awesome. That is so cool. I love hearing about your diversity there and just being raised in Puerto Rico and being Brazilian and just all of those factors. I think it makes you really unique. That's super cool. I also love that hearing about your 2 boys. That's so cute. I love that. I know that I've met them, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. And I do have a Texan American. So
Ah,
my oldest was born in Houston and he considers himself a Texan American. So
I love
there's a
that.
diversity in my family there. He needs to make sure that that's
That is special. It is.
yeah.
You have to tell him. I don't know if you remember that. I'm actually a Texas.
I
My
know.
family we're Tejanos, right? I'm Mexican American,
Right.
but Tejanos, right? Because Texas, San Antonio. I
Oh yeah.
love that.
Not just an American, he's a Texan American. So that adds to the diversity in our family.
I love that. That's so cute.
Mhm.
So tell us, Dr. Adrian, how do you help people?
Well, I'm a psychologist, so I have my own practice, so basically just me. And I help people through individual therapy and also through immigration evaluations, psychological evaluations. And so I'll see individuals that can be children or it could just be adults. And I also do my psychological evaluations, and I tend to help people who are going through their immigration cases, such as refugees seeking asylum. Usually the evaluations are part of the legal process.
That's awesome. I love that
Mhm.
you are skilled on helping all individuals, different settings, right? But also, it's so important to hear that you do these psychological immigration evaluations. That's so needed. I know I went to a training a couple of years ago where, yes, it's just like there's not enough therapists that know how to do it.
Yeah,
And so having that, and there's such a need for it. So
there is a large need. Yeah.
yeah, so thank you that you are doing that. That service is so needed. Also, so anyone out there who needs these services, you know where to go. All right. So what about when working with the Latinx community? So this is for any therapist, psychologist that's out there watching this, what are some important factors for them to consider when they're working with the Latinx community?
Yeah, you and I had been talking about this previously about the boundaries that we're taught in therapy. We're taught about the therapeutic frame, which continues to be important. It's always important. Of course, you have to have your boundaries, but the boundaries are going to look a little different. They're going to be a little more fluid when interacting with your Latina client. The idea that they're not going to get to know you at all, they don't know where you're from, they don't know anything about you, that's not going to fly usually with your client. They need to feel like they know something about you, they know who
Yeah.
you are before they're going to trust you. So don't feel surprised if your client asks you if you're a mother or not. If you're from here, where are you from? Um,
Mhm.
where you live, right? Where you
Yeah.
live in Nashville, they're going to want to know these things, and they're not trying to be nosy. They're not trying to be intrusive. They just want to get to know you before they
Yeah.
trust you. I'm sharing with you. You need to share with me. And
Right.
the
Yeah.
other thing I think is important is you have to know that when you're working with someone, you're working with the whole family.
Mhm.
Any therapy is going to be family therapy.
I
It doesn't
love
matter
that.
who you're working with. It's going to be family therapy, even if it's through the individual. But lots of times it's not through the individual. It's also literally working with the family. You're going to bring the family in. You're going to be talking to the family. You're going to be involving the family in treatment. And that's just something that you have to know and feel comfortable with. If you're somebody who strictly wants to work with the individual, doesn't want to mess with the family, then that's going to be very hard for you.
Yeah, I love that. So, like, I'm an LMFT, right? So, systems, family training, and I love that you said that because we're both Latinos, but like, um, when I work, I specifically work with kids, right, and teenagers. And if I ask, I know if I'm gonna have a family session, if I ask my Latino families to bring their family, I'm gonna get grandpa, grandma, tia, and whoever else is in the home, and they're gonna come all into the session, and that's great. And
Sometimes
welcome.
unannounced.
Yes,
They're
sometimes
just
unannounced,
you're just
right?
waiting there. Oh, okay. Hi.
Yeah. Right, and so something right, so I love that because then if you're a therapist and you say, "Bring your family," know that there might bring 7 or 8 people, right?
Mhm.
So if you only want maybe mom and dad or a subunit, you need to specify that, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I wanted to say too, I wanted to highlight, if that's okay, just, something you had said previous, we were talking just about, client resiliency and just highlighting that some of the Latino population, not everyone, but right, if they're from another country, and this can go to anyone from another country, they may not know, right, how to navigate a lot of the systems. So being prepared to, I love that you had mentioned like being prepared to help them and that you're still building resiliency, but you're helping them with navigating these systems where the language is a barrier,
Mhm.
maybe bridging the gap with some phone calls and knowing that that's okay. You're not doing a disservice to them. I love that, right? Kind of therapy is different in that way with them from someone that's an English speaker that has been here for a while, right?
Yeah, we have access and we have the privilege that we understand the system. The system was
Hmm.
made for us, right?
Yeah,
So if we have access for that, why would we deny them of that? Why would
exactly.
we kind of hold that when we have that and we can help them in that way? Because what's most stressful, what causes the most anxiety and sense of powerlessness and helplessness than not being able to successfully navigate the system that you live in?
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything else you wanted to add about those were great tips. I'm loving this. So like, okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So then, moving forward, so what is therapy like with you, Dr. Adrian? Like, what if I were a client or a client comes like in general, what is it like to be in therapy
Yeah.
with you?
I always tell my clients that I'm non-directive. That's really important to know because that's just who I am. And as a therapist, you are your greatest tool. That's so you have to be comfortable with the kind of therapy that you do. You can't do your supervisor's therapy or the therapy that your school taught you. It has to be really embody who you are. And so I'm a non-directive, gentle person. If you want somebody who's going to challenge you and confront you and tell you like it is, and that's not me.
Yeah,
You're just going to have, and there are therapists that are amazing at it, but that's not going to be me.
yeah,
I'm not directive. I tell them I'm the passenger in this journey. You're driving the boat. I'm along for the ride, and I'm going to help you pull up the map and look at where we are. And you're not going to be alone in this journey, but it's not my journey, it's yours.
yeah,
Um, so as long as they understand that, and then they experience it for themselves and it feels like it's a good fit, then we move forward in therapy. I am trained in a lot of different modalities. Um, I am working towards my play therapy certification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see children, but I'm really interested in using the sand tray with adults. Um, even though adults can usually express pretty well what they're feeling, what they're thinking and experiencing through words, sometimes there's no words.
Hmm.
Sometimes there are just no words for what you're feeling, for what you're thinking. And the sand tray gives you a different way to express yourself
Hmm.
and externalize what it is that you're feeling or what you're going through. So right now I'm really interested in working on that. And I am receiving play therapy supervision with Dr. Rachel McRoberts. Um, but, I also am trained in solution focused therapy. I'm trained in cognitive behavioral therapy. Um, I just kind of have a lot of things in my bag and I pull them out when necessary, depending on what my client needs.
That's awesome. I got excited when you talked about sand tray. I love sand tray. And it is so powerful to use with adults. I like to do when I do parent sessions, I like to have parents and it's just with the parents do sand tray. And I tell them that like this is what I use with their teenager or kiddo. And like you said, sometimes as adults we can say our feelings, but they'll be so surprised of like how something showed up in the sand tray that they're just so surprised. I didn't even think I felt this way or how deeply this was bothering me until I started using this sand tray. It's
Mhm.
powerful. I love that.
Or looking at it,
Yeah.
you know, out there in the world. I have people who take pictures of their
Yeah.
sanitary work, and I also do some dream work.
That's awesome.
I do have some clients that have dreams, and you can see how the dreams change as they
Yeah.
progress through therapy, and that's really interesting experience to see how those dreams reflect their progress in therapy. And of course, I bring people in. I bring their
Yeah.
people in. That's really important. Yeah.
That's so awesome. I love that. Um, and I think it's exciting the play therapy training that you're getting or supervision. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I love it. Um, okay. So then here's a fun question. Tell us what put you on the track? Why did you want to be a therapist?
Since I was little, I observed people. People are puzzling. They don't do what they say. Um, their actions don't reflect their words, and some of their behaviors are really puzzling because you go, why are they doing that? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't benefit them, and so I just found it really interesting to why people behave the way they do, why they interact the way that they do. And I was really interested, I really became interested in multicultural psychology because of the multicultural background of my family. My dad's from the South. My mom's from Brazil. I'm Puerto Rican. So I really got to see how your cultural upbringing influences who you are and how you behave. And so I was really interested in trying to tease out what's culture and what's just being human.
Yeah.
What's just kind of like essentially being human. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's just a universal experience,
Mhm.
and what's culturally conditioned. And that's why I got my master's degree in cross-cultural psychology, because I just found it so interesting, and I think sitting down with a client every session, it's almost like an anthropological experience, because culture is macro,
Yeah.
right? You can say Western civilization, you can say Latino, but culture is also
Southern culture, right? Like
Southern, yeah, fried chicken, whatever. But, American, what does American culture mean? Blue jeans, rock and roll, um, it's, if you come from the outside, that's what people think American culture is. But there's also micro, right?
right.
Um, what does your family culture look
Mhm.
like? What does a certain culture for a generation like, right? I'm an elderly millennial.
Yeah.
So, being an elderly millennial is different from being
Yes.
a Z or the millennials that had access to all the technology. And so there's so many different layers to culture and
Yeah.
how that influences you. But at the same time, there's an essence to you. There's a core that is immovable, no matter where you grow up.
Yes.
Just because you're human, just because you're you. And I just kind of love untangling that within myself and also with my clients.
I love that. I love that so much. I liked how you said an elderly millennial. I think I'm in the same category
Mhm.
because I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, like all the super technology. That's funny. That's the first time I heard that. So I was chuckling.
AOL, you know.
Yeah, I loved that. I think that's so awesome, though, that specific training. And whether you, any type of therapist that you are, whether you're intentional about bringing that up or not, it is there
Yeah.
in the room with you, you know? And I love that. So I feel like you bring that up with intentionality in your sessions, you know? And kind of what weave that together, right? I love that. Okay, and so then here's a question for anyone that may come from a family system or cultural background where it just wasn't therapy friendly or a little suspicious of therapy or just not sure if it's going to work, right? Why should people give therapy a try?
Yeah. Well, I mean, therapy is scary.
Mhm.
It's scary. It's true. It doesn't matter what culture you're in. Therapy can be scary because you're going to face certain things that certain truths about yourself and about your life that maybe you haven't wanted to look at, right? You don't know what you're going to uncover.
Yeah.
You don't know what feelings you're going to have about things. And if therapy is being done right, you're going to change and your life is
Mhm.
going to change. So yes, it's scary, but it's worth the leap. Um, because you can live your whole life the way you're living. I guess that's okay,
Mhm.
right? Or you could live a life so much better than you could ever imagine. I have clients that are at a place where they never thought that they would get to. They're living the kind of life that they never thought they were going to live. And it's not thanks to me. I'd
Yeah.
love to say, I did that. That was no. It's not because of me. It's because they were brave. They
Mhm.
went to therapy and they found out it wasn't so scary because they're not alone.
Yeah.
In therapy, you have somebody who is always going to catch you when you fall, who's always going to look at you with love and compassion. And that's a gift that's very hard to find anywhere else.
Mhm.
Um, so, what I tell people, it's okay, it's scary. You know what? Just come and meet me.
Yeah.
Just come and meet me. Let's just see how it feels. It's no commitment. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just talk. We don't have to talk. I have clients who don't want to talk sometimes. You know what? That's fine. We'll do
Mhm.
something else. We can sing together. We can draw together. We can listen to music together. It's fine. Just being in a safe space where nothing's expected of you and it's all for you. Everything is for the benefit of you. I mean, that's something that you really just can't find anywhere else. It's special. So after people come in one session, they're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, I love that.
This is nice. And then you know what happens is when one person goes into therapy and they start doing really well, everybody else notices.
Yes.
Everybody else, everybody in their family, everybody at work, they go, "What are you doing?" They're like, "You even look better."
Yeah.
They're like, did you color your hair? Are you wearing, they're like, no. There's something about them that's changed and everybody notices it and everybody wants that.
Yes.
You go, what did you do? What, you're not irritable anymore. You don't blow up anymore. Or, we enjoy each other's company. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then the person breaks their silence and say, I'm in therapy. And they go, huh.
Yeah.
Then you know what happens sometimes? The whole family ends up going to therapy. Well, that's
Yes.
me, right? Because I only see one person. But everybody starts going to therapy.
Yeah.
it starts a whole domino effect.
And there's
So
such
being that first person
yes.
can really just kind of start a revolution in the family.
Yes, all I could think over and over
Mhm.
again, like, as you were talking, I was getting, like, this visual of, like, breaking the chain, the chains, right, generationally of things that were our generations we've had and carried, and whether it's, like, generational trauma, racial, anything, and it's starting to break free from those things one person at a time, right, like, I love that. That's so powerful. I had a client, I do work with adult females in Tennessee, and I had a client say that same thing recently. I loved it where they were saying that people were noticing. They're like, going to therapy, like, and so I love that. I love that. It's so powerful. And I also loved, I was thinking about it when you were talking about just come in and just give it a try. It's no commitment. If you don't like it, you don't have to, right? I was, clients like dipping their toe in the water, and if it might be a little bit cold at the beginning, but if you just sit there, it starts to feel, you start to get used to that and it feels a lot better, right? And so I just love that. You explained it so well.
Yeah, people
Um,
have this idea where your therapist is going to tell you what to do,
yeah,
or you're going to be disapproving,
right,
and the magical thing about therapy is like, no, I don't have any opinion on that.
right. And all
This is
feelings
your
are
life.
welcome, right? Like all feelings are welcome.
Mhm.
You can talk about, yeah, I love when clients are like, is it okay for me to say that? I'm like, you can say whatever you want in here. Like it's being able to have that freedom, right? I love
Or
that.
nothing. You can say
Yeah,
nothing
you're
too.
right. Nothing. We
You
can
don't
sit
have
here.
to feel like you're expected to talk or
Yeah. I know
Mhm.
you probably relate to this since you also work with kids. Sometimes, right? We're just sitting there and we're just coloring and we're being safe together in a safe space. And just, yeah, I love that. Oh gosh, I'm so excited. This has like just been so good for me. Okay, so last question is what does it mean for you to be Latina? What's it mean for you?
I mean, it means being part of a family, and sometimes families can be messy, and sometimes you don't all get along, or agree, right? Or live your lives the same way, or but you're part of a family. You're part of a family. You recognize each other. You see each other. Um, you feel a responsibility towards each other. You understand each other in a way that nobody else does. So, Latina can mean a lot of things, a lot of words within that. But for me, it's that sense of belonging, that sense of being part of this really big, kind of cacophonous family, but I fit in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a heartfelt sense of what it is to be part of that family.
Yeah, I love that. I
Mhm.
love this question so much because everyone, like you said, like when you said, for me, it means this, right?
Mhm.
Because for every person who identifies as Latinx, like that experience is unique to them and the woven tapestry of us, right? Like, and so I love that. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to interview you. I really appreciate it, and I loved spotlighting
Thank
you.
you
You're
for
such a
having
value.
me.
Yeah, you're such a value to the community and to the field. So thank you so much. Um,
Absolutely.
until we meet again, right? Like, bye. And I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Da, 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 da. Okay. I was going to tell you that I will have, when I post this, I will have
Mhm.
your contact information. And if you
Okay.
saw Amanda's, no big deal if you haven't, but basically it was the same idea is that I've have you featured. And then first I have you featured on spotlighted slides. And then I have your interview on a different kind of post with some features, and then it'll say how to contact you. So any questions about, oh, and I also put like a little, just so you know that when you do see it's on, so I'm posting it on my Instagram and then on my like my Facebook professional page, and then I have been sharing them in the community of
Okay.
Facebook therapists.
You could tag me. I have an Instagram page, but I never
Okay.
use it. I think it's Psychology Nashville.
Okay. I
Oh
will
gosh, I
try.
haven't logged in that one for like a year or something. But I mean, if you're gonna put it on Instagram, I guess you can, I don't know, tag me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I will
Mhm,
try that and then email you if it doesn't work.
mhm,
And so,
mhm,
yeah, and I just put a shout out of like why I like you so much and just kind of
mhm,
like your so that'll be on there. And then I didn't, I just kind of put your profile stuff on there. What you send me from your not profile,
mhm,
your bio.
mhm.
And so yeah, so thank you.
Yay!
And we'll
Awesome.
have to meet up at another time to have fun. And I will
Yeah,
send
so
those
let me know. Mhm.
on the next meetups and stuff. I still haven't fixed it since last Friday. So I was like,
No, yeah.
I hope you have a
Yeah,
really great work day.
I think there's a desire to meet up and everything. I think it's just like everybody's schedules, but I think if we have a holiday party,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just
gonna look
gonna do
into
that.
it.
Just do a date, and then
Mhm,
because, like I said, the Lipscomb Center allowed me to use their place, but it didn't work out over the last summer. So
mhm,
I'll
mhm.
try to see what they have available for December. Maybe do like an early December holiday party because everyone leaves,
Early.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
early.
like that
Mhm.
first weekend or something,
Yeah.
or Friday. Okay, well, but yeah, I will keep in touch on that. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, let's see. I know.